Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Christopher Elmore. Elmore was stabbed to death on Sunday, April 27, 2008, in the 44,800 block of 5th Street East in Lancaster, according to LA County coroner records. Jonathan Murray and Jason Cutler were subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. Defendant Jonathan Murray lived in an apartment with his brother, Jason Cutler, his mother, Ms. Young, and his friend, victim Chris Elmore. The apartment was located in the Lancaster Gardens apartment complex on the northeast corner of Lancaster Boulevard and 5th Street East in Lancaster, California. On the morning of April 28, 2008, at approximately 2 a.m., LA County Sheriff Detective Rodriguez and his partner McCarthy were called to investigate a homicide near the Lancaster Gardens. When Detective Rodriguez arrived at the scene, he saw the victim's body in the middle of 5th Street East, positioned north of Lancaster Boulevard. The victim had a stab wound to the left side of his neck. A trail of blood ran from the victim's body towards a duffel bag located near the curb. A wooden cane and a metal curtain rod were lying in the street. While at the crime scene, Detective Rodriguez and his partner interviewed a neighbor of an apartment located across from the Lancaster Gardens. The neighbor stated that at approximately 11 p.m., he had seen the victim, defendant Murray, and his brother exit the Lancaster Gardens and begin fighting. Defendant and his brother appeared to be attacking the victim, who repeatedly asked to be left alone. The neighbor reported that defendant Murray had been swinging a metal pole and that the victim was using a wooden cane in self-defense. Defendant Murray and his brother eventually went back into the Lancaster Gardens, and the victim began walking north on 5th Street East holding a duffel bag. Shortly thereafter, the neighbor saw defendant Murray and his brother come back out of the Lancaster Gardens and run north on 5th Street East in the same direction the victim was headed. One of the men appeared to be concealing an object under his clothes. The neighbor saw defendant Murray and his brother again minutes later running south on 5th Street East and back into the Lancaster Gardens. After they entered the building, their mother came outside and said, "Those are my sons. That guy disrespected me and they had to do what they had to do." Another neighbor who lived in the 5th Street East residence located between the area where the victim's body was found and the Lancaster Gardens informed police she had found 2 knives in her front lawn. One knife had a black handle with a small blade. The second knife had a large butcher-type blade and a brown handle. The larger knife had blood on the blade, which was later determined to match the victim's DNA. The size and pattern of the blade were consistent with the stab wound on the victim's neck. During a subsequent search of defendant Murray's apartment, police recovered a set of knives that had the same rivet pattern and symbols as the brown handle knife that had been recovered from the neighbor's yard. Defendant Murray and his brother were arrested and taken into custody. On May 1st, 2008, Detectives Rodriguez and McCarthy interrogated defendant Murray, who stated that the victim had disrespected his mother, which escalated to a fight in the street. Defendant told detectives that he was hitting the victim with a metal rod, but was then called inside his apartment by his mother. After returning to the apartment, defendant and his brother each retrieved a knife and began pursuing the victim. Defendant claimed that while engaged in the pursuit, he decided he did not want to be a part of what was about to occur and discarded his knife, which had a black handle. Defendant then returned to the Lancaster Gardens and did not see what happened to the victim. On October 9, 2008, the LA District Attorney's Office filed an information charging defendant Murray with murder. It also alleged that defendant had used a deadly weapon in the commission of the offense and that he had suffered a prior serious felony conviction. Following the trial, the jury convicted defendant of first-degree murder and the court sentenced him to 55 years to life. Defendant appealed and his judgment was reversed. He was later convicted of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 15 years to life, double the 30 years to life under the 3 strikes law. Jason Cutler was convicted of first-degree murder and was sentenced to 25 years to life in state prison. Christopher Arthur Elmore was 25 years old at the time of death.